What is up, YouTube? What's up, everybody? Welcome back. This is JR Wisdom. You have tuned into the JR Wisdom channel. Now I'm going live with you guys, and you know the vibes. Make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button. Spam that like button right now. Also, if it's your first time tuning into the channel, make sure you guys hit that bell along with the subscribe button, as I already said. That way you get all notifications for all of my future videos that have content similar to this. So before we jump into it, you guys see the thumbnail, Sesame Place, to be exact, Sesame Street. This has been in the news for you guys who may or may not have been watching. And I think it's pretty interesting. I wanted to play a few clips and actually speak on it if you guys don't know about it. Whether it's been accused of racism, and I know there's, obviously some lawsuits that have come up in the mix in terms of this. And here we are. And I got to learn a lot about Sesame Street history and things like that. But whether it's deliberate or not, I'm going to leave it up for you guys to judge. So I'm not going to hold you guys too much longer. Also, if you don't mind, go ahead and comment in the chat below where you're checking in from, age, sex, gender, whatever have you. I like to know where my viewers and subscribers are tuning in from. So that being said, if you don't mind, go ahead and do that. And let's go ahead and jump right into it. So I got quite a few clips here, which I'll share the screen here shortly, from multiple parents at Sesame Place. For those of you who don't know, Sesame Place is a theme park in the Philadelphia area. And Philadelphia, for those of you watching overseas, is in Pennsylvania. I know everybody's pretty much heard of Philadelphia. So with this one, man, I'll just jump right into it, like I said, and I'll leave you guys to give your opinions on it and your thoughts to see what it is. So let's go ahead and open this up here, and we'll play this clip.
Look at Elmo.
So that was one clip there. Here's a from this particular family where you see the little girl here. She actually retained an attorney, or an attorney contacted her, and she retained the attorney from there. But she's like, this sounds like a lawsuit, so let's get it cracking. So
by advertising.
We'll go ahead and I hate when those things we play it like that, man, but we got to get around to it. Skip ads. Let's go.
They sent me a message to call to speak to a manager. She was supposed to call me back.
Let's first discuss what the mother who actually recorded this video says happened. Now, she's the mother to one of those little girls, the aunt to the other. She says they were at Sesame Place, which is a theme park outside of Philadelphia, over the weekend. And as you can see, we're at the parade when she says that you can clearly see that Rosita, gives a high five to the person next to them who is white. And then she says blatantly ignores the two little girls and alleges racism. Now, she says she tried to get the park's attention, tried to talk to a supervisor. That wasn't heard. So she posted this video along with her explanation on social media. When, well, that was heard by hundreds of thousands of people. It went viral. And the park did respond, as you asked, Allison. Essentially, the park said in part this: our brand, our park, and our employees stand for inclusivity and equality in all forms. That is what Sesame Place is about, and we do not tolerate any behaviors in our parks that are contrary to that commitment. And they offered this, saying it was a misunderstanding that they talked to the performer who was sorry about this, felt bad about it. They said that they were actually saying no to a person who was asking for a photo op by holding a child, which the park does not allow. They also said, you know, it's possible because of the costume, they didn't see these two little girls. So again, this went viral. They offered up a second apology.
Now that parade, so unless there's multiple, I don't know that character because I'm not into Sesame Street. It's been like years, obviously. But that character, which I'm gonna play some clips, that character was doing similar things, or basically in terms of what can be perceived as ignoring certain children in the area, unless it's just multiple characters wearing that same outfit. But we'll get into that.
To the family in another statement, but as we know, this family has now hired an attorney and they're not putting this to rest.
All right, Bryn Gingras, thank you.
Yeah.
I'm joined now by Jody Brown, the mother and aunt of those little girls. You see her there in the video, and her lawyer, B. Ivory Lamar. Thank you for being with us. Bryn walked us right up until the moment of that denial from the character. Tell us what happened, and when that moment happened, what went through your mind?
One, I couldn't believe that it happened. It's a child theme park. The kids are supposed to be, you know, happy and, you know, acknowledged and greeted and having a good time. So the fact that this even happened, the fact that this is even going to be a core memory for them when it comes to Sesame Place is actually disgusting and unbelievable to me. I, of course, didn't expect that to happen as I'm recording. I'm just trying to get their reactions because everyone can see they're so excited. So to see the family next to me be acknowledged and to have them be ignored and then the family right next to us be acknowledged, at that point, I have already stopped the video. It was heartbreaking. And in the video, you can also see how sad the children are.
Yeah. You say that, and we've talked around it. I want to be explicit here. You believe that whomever is in that costume did not high-five your daughter and niece, didn't hug Skylar and Nyla because they're little black girls.
Yes, because as you can see now that I spoke up and released my video, now there's multiple parents who have similar videos with that character doing the same thing to the same.
And I caught that. Now I like to play devil's advocate sometimes. I mean, you know, ignoring racism, bigotry, all these things do exist. I'm not taking that away, but in the clips you do see, which this isn't showing it, and that previous clip I played shows a few things. But when we get into some here, which this page called Fro Babies I follow on Instagram, they were like putting up all those and getting mad views from that. So we'll definitely jump into that one.
Race of children. So for me, that's not a coincidence at all. It's absolutely disgusting. And I do feel like the organization honestly really and truly need to accept accountability.
Jody, you see they're crestfallen and disappointed after the Rosita character walks by. Did they say anything to you about that moment?
The character itself?
No, the girls.
The girls, oh, in that moment, they're just, you know, sad. Like, how come he didn't, you know, give me a high five? What did we do? As you can see, my niece is still reaching out for him. So in that moment, you know, you want to console the children and tell them, like, it's okay. Like, you didn't do anything wrong. Some people are just not good people. But for every bad person, there's going to be 100 more good people. And love is always going to, you know, outweigh hate. But I shouldn't have these conversations with 2 6-year-old children. That's ridiculous.
Yeah. Jody, let me turn to your attorney now, B. Ivory Lamar. First, there is an attorney as part of this conversation. Are you planning to file suit, B. Ivory?
You know, that is on the table. We would, you know, hopefully intend to work on resolving this matter short of litigation. I mean, the family is very clear with their expectations. They want a formal apology. They want the individual to be terminated. And thirdly, you know, this mental anguish that has been.
We want that check, baby. Give me that check. We want all that plus a check. Give me that check.
Perpetuated upon these young 6-year-old girls is something that should be addressed also by the theme park. They went to this park on Saturday with the expectation of having a good time, enjoying themselves. They were very fond of those Sesame Park characters. And to leave out that park heartbroken, with their hearts shattered, is something that this theme park should take responsibility for. It has been echoed across this country from families that have been contacting my office. Phone is ringing off the hook with other families with videos showing similar outrageous, egregious conduct that this theme park has put upon these families. This is absurd, and this theme park needs to take accountability immediately.
Jody, has the park reached out to you? We read their statements. Have you heard from Sesame Place?
When I first posted the picture the following day, they sent me a message to call to speak to a manager. She was supposed to call me back, and I haven't received a phone call back since the whole situation went viral.
And what do you make of their explanation that the person in the suit was?
Baby, of course you went viral. Ain't nobody talking to you at that point. I mean, like, we ain't talking. We'll issue an official statement via discussing it with our attorneys and things like that. But come on, man. So if a ninja looks at me wrong now, I can sue for mental anguish. Hey, man, it's all about the kids. It's all about the kids. All right? Put yourself in that position. Facts. I'm not laughing, but for real, put yourself in that position.
Not responding to the girls. They were responding to someone in the crowd who wanted them to hold the baby, and that's against the policy of the park.
In the video, you can clearly see the character looking at the children and saying no. I think that was just an excuse, damage control, because of the severity of where they see the video was going. But you can clearly see in the video that he looked directly at the children and said no. So I feel like that was an excuse, and instead of taking accountability, they were trying to, sweep the situation under the rug.
So that's all about Rosita. So the character's name is Rosita. Rosita was the one that was tripping and was having a bad day, maybe, and didn't want to rock with the kids. So I'm gonna take it over from here. I'm gonna take it over to Fro Babies because they got some interesting clips, including the supposedly it's the history, which it's a social justice type rap or whatever that this guy was doing on there in reference to the creation and why Sesame Street was created and things like that, which I'll share here shortly. But let's go ahead and share that screen with the this Instagram page with the audio. So this was the first one, obviously, that came up, but you guys had already seen this one. And we got one following here.
I thought it was part of it. No. That's why I ain't even focused on it. It's okay, Big Bird. Hey! Who said it's okay, Big Bird? That girl that was
Look like the same character. But...
Hey! You wanted a down. Right. You wanted the hot bomb. Yeah, you wanted that.
Oh, it won't part of it?
Now, that could have been just they didn't see him. You know what I'm saying? Some people may disagree when it comes to that one. But let's continue. if you didn't catch that, she hugged the little white girl and just saw the black girl with the braids there, waving in her face, and she just kept it moving. So we'll go to the next video here, though. Yo, Rosita, like, she really ain't got time. She ain't trying to hear none of that, man. She just walking past like, I ain't trying to see none of that. At all. At all. At all. At all. At all. But let's continue.
Child down like this, but this is completely unacceptable. I'm not certain what would possess somebody to push a child down like this, but this is completely unacceptable. I'm not.
So obviously a different character. Was it an accident? I mean, you seen the little kid losing the balance. You know you got that big ass belly. You gonna knock down somebody with it. I mean, come on now. Act of racism. I wouldn't go that far. That was just carelessness. And I guess this was one of the first statements that came out after it went viral. Sesame Workshop is aware of the recent incident at Sesame Place, Philadelphia, which we take very seriously. What these children experience is unacceptable. We have been in contact with Sesame Place, our licensed park partner, and they have assured us that they will conduct bias training and a thorough review of the ways in which they engage with families and guests. As a global nonprofit educational organization with a mission to help children grow smarter, stronger, and kinder, Sesame Workshop has always stood for respect, inclusion, and belonging, and is committed to providing the highest quality, engaging experiences for all children and families. We hold our partners to the same high standard. We will continue working with our long-term partner, Sesame Place, to ensure the appropriate actions are taken and that the incidents like this do not happen in the future. Very interesting. Very interesting.
Look at Elmo. Look at Elmo. Oh, God. Oh, wow. You missed them. I know you're talking one of the hugs. Look so high. Look. You see how big? Oh, they missed. I look. They walk right up the arm way faster.
Now that's a lot of coincidences, but hey, let's keep going. It's a whole lot of coincidences there. Sheesh.
We've noticed that there's a lot of outrage, rightfully so, around these videos. But then what? What's the next step after the outrage, right? People are calling for the boycott of Sesame Street and all these other things. And one of the important things that we've been saying to people is that Sesame Street, which is operated by the Sesame Workshop, is not in charge of Sesame Place, you know? And so it doesn't help to go over there to Sesame Street and say these things. What we want is for Sesame Place to do the things that they said they're going to do in their second statement, which is to have better training, to have more inclusivity in mind for their staff. And that would help significantly, because then you wouldn't have this deluge of videos that are coming out where people in the costume are behaving inappropriately and not aligning themselves with the character that they're supposed to be portraying.
Yeah, more monitoring of those character actors, more accountability for those character actors. You know, once they put on that costume, they have to portray the whatever Sesame Street's characters embody.
Right.
So you no longer can go by what you want to do. You have to be that character, and that's, you know, the friendliest place on earth, right? Is Sesame Street, and you have to, you know, make these children feel happy and special, because that's what we're there for.
We've noticed that there's a lot of outrage, rightfully so, around these videos. But then what?
Oh, look, wave at the monster again, look. Hi, hurry up, Dustin.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that's really a good video, man, but I think you got a good case. Even though it may be a coincidence, you can't hug every child though. But it's like this character right here, Rosita, you hell, whoever up in there. Rosita, you it's like, man, listen, but I'm gonna play this last clip here, which I think is, you know, how true this is with this guy making this, but I think it's pretty interesting right here.
If you don't know the story, I'll break it down. Yep, man, it got it started in the late 60s, right in the hood in Harlem. The midst of fights for civil rights and marching, we had just lost our kings, Malcolm Martin, ended by a shooter. How we get past that? Well, the children are the future. Understood that tremendously, but our kids failed academically. And fixing that won't be easy, especially when the kids watch too much TV. Meaningless cartoons ain't giving them nothing, ain't stimulating their minds, ain't giving them substance. Daggone mom working 2 jobs, it's more time to stay home, consume nonsense. Misdirection, well, where there's an exposed curse, and there's a hidden blessing. Then boom, that blessing appeared. Top people in the form of Chester Pierce, a black psychiatrist whose dedication was getting in the path for children education, who noticed on the TV in every station there was some form of black misrepresentation. He knew no way these kids excel, cause the TV was ruining their mental health. Mindset set the crush, cause no positive shows reflected us. So we partnered with Joanne Cooney, who with Lloyd Morissette got an $8 million check for the children television workshop. Intent for this was our kids could learn like the privileged kids, cause when the stats was in and they made the comparison, woo, it's embarrassing. Now it's time for some action in. Hired John Stone, a graduate with sight, who bonded with the brothers, had a passion for our plight. Vision farming to connect with us, made the set location mimic Harlem. Now that's it, you're getting closer. Right there from tapping into the culture. Then in the fast instant they got us. Joanne hired a team of black women advisors. Ebony Queens, now to the big stage, blessing the screens. Not just elementary, even had the college kids in the frenzy. Along with the lessons of class teachers, also got representation from black leaders. Alphabets with James Jones and heavy poems from a young Jesse Owens. Guitar with B.B. King, the youth can dance, y'all. Never too much, had Luther Vandross dancing, singing along. Kids on the steps, learning with Nina Simone. Mahalia, helping kids chance to grow. Other queens, such as Maya Angelou. Woo, I like this action. Even decided to thrill us with a young Michael Jackson. Finally, things looking up. If you don't know the story, I'll break it down. Yep, man, it got it started in the late 60s, right in the hood in Harlem.
My bad. I had it muted all this time. Let me repeat. Hate when that happened because I got to keep going back and forth. And only one person said, well, two people finally said something. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I got sound now. Hopefully you guys can hear me. But, I figured I'd come on here really quickly and rap with you guys in reference to this. It's too many people got it on camera. Obviously, whatever settlement they plan on doing or not doing, it is what it is. They lower it up. But this type of stuff, it does still happen. I'm not propagating, what occurs and doesn't occur. I think as being a person of color in America, especially when you're amongst certain demographics, you have encountered certain situations where you have been ignored or, passed over and things like that. But for your kids, I mean, you can't expect all these costume. Well, Rosita was definitely on the road that day, but you can't expect all costume characters when you go to a place to be able to get every single child. But if you're making yourself known and this particular character is doing the same thing, then that's what you definitely need to address. You know what I mean? But let me know what you guys think about this when you're watching the restream or whatever. The call lines were open, but let me know what you guys think. And how do you see it? Was it just coincidence? Are the parents just doing the most? Are the parents just upset because did the children actually get ignored? I mean, you saw what you saw on the clips, but it might have just been a coincidence. But I just think it was just too many of them on camera, especially with that one character. But anyway, with that being said, man, I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Appreciate you guys for watching. Make sure you guys like, share, comment, subscribe. Hit me up on Linktree to book a session. Purchase all my books and merch. Some are below in the would be a toolbar. And with that being said, I will catch you guys on the next one. I am out of here.